maneuver where they will try their best to maybe invade each other.
Taking a look at the spells, right? Everyone has actually opted for the flicker except for Skylar once again, who opted for the sprint. And the difference is this time around, there is a lot of hard lock CC coming in from EVOS Legends. Last time Skylar was able to maneuver around it. We'll see if he's able to pull that out again here in game number 3.
I mean, looking at the mid-control here, it definitely is going to be Hijime who has an advantage with the Kaja as well. We all know, even individually, just the Lilia is able to 2v1 sometimes in lane just to clear out the wave. So, EVOS Legends will have more to say when it comes to that. But when it comes to rotating across the map, it should be Renbo who has a bit more presence with the Shadow Stampede, giving him more movement speed to play with. And obviously, with that winning lane in the XP lane.
But even if he has a lot of movement speed, EVOS Legends, they shouldn't be as reliant on that level 4, right? The Lilia already does a lot of damage even with that first 2 abilities. But so far, he hasn't been actually projecting onto that. 14 seconds left on the next turtle. RRQ seem to have the better advantage in the setup.
Very nasty setup indeed here. Taz opening up the map. Take a look at the 2v1, forcing Taz for that early heavy spin. And that's a signal to take the first turtle perhaps uncontested. But take a look at Lapu. Saika's own bronze outside. Deals a lot of damage with that BAMI though, still able to get out. Cyclops will take the first neutral objective, what the heck, and gets the first blood. EVOS Legends, they're on steroids now as Lemon now gets the pick off, not just yet. He is able to get away with that flicker.
The setup was so good. We mentioned it. Bottom side though.
Unum Blast flicker caught Brands out, and he will be taken down, not by Skylar though, by Vic.
Again, back to my point, the setup was immaculate. RRQ with better rotations, Lemon and Albert forcing Taz's heavy spin. No retribution, no contest from Taz. They still lose out. Albert on the retreat battle against the Lapu. It happened against Hijime in game 2. Now it's happening against the Lapu. And man, Albert needs to again stay composed in this battle, particularly with no retribution contest from the enemy team. Just wait for it. You don't really need to go for that crazy, early, what prediction on the retribution.
Like you mentioned, Hydras, right? You think you have one man down, you think you have Taz off the board, but someone else from EVOS Legends step up, either Hijime or even Psychots in that particular scenario. But now RRQ Hoshi looking to put and pin their focus here into the gold lane, but they might be caught here as Taz is already there as well.
No commitments just yet though. It seems like EVOS Legends, they are just opening up vision. But take a look at bot side. They might commit on towards this one. It's a 4-man rotation. Vin now caught by the suppression. He isn't able to find the clear, but Skylar here, Blazing Wedge just to clear. Psychots stunning him as now take a look at Vin. He gets taken down. The pin will pin down Rambo as Brand securing the kill.
Playing around their winning lane. Again, brilliant by EVOS Legends, and from RRQ, I don't think it was a good response. They could have just played around that top side, maybe even getting a turret, maybe even 2. Even if they stayed in the mid lane, leaving Skylar to play that weak side of the map, I think Skylar would have been able to just disengage from that with a sprint, with the BMI, but they decided to bank on their losing lane. The Claude just had no pressure, and here, Psychot up top is going to actually be quite chunked there.
You can see now that Brands is already rotated towards this turtle. Better setup from EVOS. I think RRQ Hoshi, they don't want to contest this.
Yeah, it seems like no movement. So it's, yeah, you're right, uncontested Lord. And top side, it seems like, of course, Terizla Lemon will have the better trade. So again, RRQ should more focus on towards the gold lane here. Let's see how will EVOS Legends capitalize on their gold lead.
Right now, it's 1,500 gold lead, precisely, right, for EVOS Legends. And you can feel the pressure, even in the mid lane, onto Rembo. But look at this, Omowawa, the only person banking on RRQ to win this particular game. And there is a chance, right? If they can get the proper setup, if they can stave it off into that mid game where everyone starts to clump together and when team fight is more important, that's when I see RRQ Hoshi having a chance. But right now, EVOS, with the way that they're able to rotate, it looks a little bit too difficult for RRQ. They need to stay patient in their skirmishes. They need to stay patient when it comes down to their commitments.
Look at how they're rotating across the map, right? Giving Brands as much gold as possible. Basically funneling gold to Brands. Bottom lane with the gold buff, then rotating to the mid lane, then rotating back to the bottom lane to catch the wave that's been shoved in by the Claude. And this can work, but this can also be bad for the team because Hijume is not getting as much gold as Renbo, though it doesn't really matter because Renbo has been literally ignoring the mid wave a whole lot of times, being 2 levels below of Hijume, who has the mystery shop too. So he's going to be able to get to those item power spikes much faster than the Faramis. Renbo needs to respect this. Renbo needs to start farming a bit more because if this continues to happen, EVOS Legends will still have a gold lead despite them giving most of the gold, funneling it to Brands.
But that's an interesting choice of emblem, right? The mystery shop. Usually when we see the Lilia, we either see the Impure Rage or even the Magic Worship. So not more damage, not more DPS, or what do you call it? Damage, no, it's not damage per second.
Damage over time?
DOT dot is what I meant. And that actually might be a disadvantage for EVOS in the later stages of the game. Especially with Rembo, right? With the Magic Worship. But once again here, both of these teams gonna go for the turtle.
Doesn't look like that RRQ has a proper setup. Now Psychots again popping that Bravest Spider towards the backside. Who will get it though? It's still a 50-50. Lemon gets stunned. Take a look at the penalties on Albert now, saying otherwise. He gets the turtle as Taz will pop that heavy spin onto his Lemon. No clear follow-up damage though, but take a look at Lemon here holding on. Dream got caught out in the backside. No clear follow-up damage again, but Newman on blast catches 5, and that is huge for RRQ to open the fight. Double kill for Albert. He's looking for the triple here. Is this too greedy though? As Psychos is trying to find the kill with that flicker as well. Good cover from Ben, but it is just still a 2-4-0. Plus, RRQ got the trade for that turtle.
Oh, luckily RRQ luckily EVOS Legends went back, right? Because Skylar was already on the way and he could have popped in with the damage output, and that would have been even worse for EVOS Legends. But as you can see here, RRQ, they've been able to get the gold back, getting a turret in the bottom side and getting a better trade in that team fight.
Wow, well played. Albert now finally getting back into his zone, winning the retry battle equal this time, right? Martis Akai. We mentioned this, Akai won't really have as much pressure against the Martis because of the anti-CC. Here though, we're going to take a look at the items as Vin has actually opted to go for the Blade Armor first item, going up against the Moskov. I think you can see a similar approach later on for the Martis and even there for the Terizla. But for the other side, look at Brand. No boots. He's going straight for just damage. He wants to play with his Abyss Walker.
I mean, he's playing this Moskov like a 1-1, but take a look at Vin though, getting chunked, and that's information. So with if 5v4, EVOS Legends might look for a fight, but it seems like they're not interested to find the opening.
Yeah, the cooldown on the Black Shoes isn't too significant, especially that Hijume has already received that Enchanted Talisman, right? So the CC is going to be there, she can spam her abilities a little bit better. And the fact is, when we look at the gold differences, does anything stand out? Because so far, everything's quite equal. I guess the only thing that looks significant is Albert's lead in the gold.
Albert farming better, right? That's why the Martis is really good here. He farms like an absolute monster, but also what I do want to highlight in the gold differences is the amount of pressure or the amount of resources that have been sent over to Brand. It's only giving him 400 lead against Claude Skylar, who's just been farming in one lane, as we've seen in the heat map as well. This is something that we've seen constantly throughout even game number 1. And EVOS Legends need to understand now that this is a time where, well, they need to get Brands ahead even more, right? He is on the Abyss Walker, he doesn't have boots, so he's very, very vulnerable. EVOS need to play front to back with him. It seems like Psychots has been diving. Taz as well has been using the heavy spin to actually go for team fights instead of covering.
Penalty zone used by Lemon. No clear impact though. Hijume gets stunned, popping that Black Shoes. Take a look at Psychots here, forcing the altar in the backside. And now, let's see the focus. Oh, Rainbow gets taken down. Ben is quite low. Skylar using the Blaze Duet, but Brands and Dreams will find a member there, secured by Hijume. That is going to be enough space for EVOS Legends to perhaps secure the first Lord.
Yeah, right now, Vin can't look for an engage because he's been taken down, and RRQ, they don't want to overcommit onto anything too much, right? So they are going to let the Lord go. EVOS Legends now, how are they going to convert this, right? The Lord is spawning into the bottom side. Seems like Brand's gonna look for a play in the top side. And now RRQ though, with the way that EVOS Legends are dispersing, they could use this and to capitalize over it.
What they can do right now, RRQ, is just try to weather out the storm, right? They need to farm to a point where the plot gets the win of nature here. Lemon actually jumps in with the penalty zone. Very interesting choice there. As EVOS have more pressure around this, you can see the global pressure. Lemon!
Oh my god, Lemon flickering forward. Hijume will find the kill. And as well, popping that black shoes as well. And now EVOS maintaining pressure in the mid side. As one by one, the structures will fall and RRQ will have less space to play around with.
And look at that. The Waves are already marching there in the top side. That's gonna give them another turret on the board. And now, once again, RRQ's turrets, they're falling down like flies.
RRQ defending Albert, caught from that Divine Judgment. Hold Altar was placed as well, but no casualties from both parties as EVOS, they're unable to find the base turret, any base turret.
Now, Lemon, right? I think that's why I kind of questioned why he used the penalty zone earlier, because he could have just used it if EVOS Legends dive onto him. Then he proceeded to make another mistake, miscalculation, flickering forward instead of backwards to just get to safety, right? And luckily, RRQ were still able to defend that one, but now we're looking back at the items. Anti-Cuirass, an interesting choice by Martis. So he's expecting the Lapu to be doing more damage than the Moskov is what I'm getting at right now, right? It does give you a bit more physical defense, but against the Moskov, you would really usually go for the blade armor because he just, you know, constantly hits you. Maybe even add the steel leg plates onto that if you really want physical defense. I don't really think Psychots is going to have that much damage, so the Anti-Cuirass is not as value, in my opinion, especially for this game in particular. Meanwhile, on the other side here, wow, it's the fleeting time already done with the Radiant Armor and the Steel Leg Plates. Now, what the Steel Leg Plates does, it's so good. 35 physical defense on 500 gold. It's super value. It's the best item, bang for buck. And you'll see these every single time. If the enemy team has a good mix of magical and physical, you'll go for Radiant or Athena, just finish one of those items and just go for the Steel Leg Plates. You get the same amount of stats.
Intelligent play here. As you can see, once again, Lemon and Hijume going at it. But you're right, I think Lemon wanted to make a play earlier, honestly. I think he wanted to make a mismaneuver coming in from Hijume, realizing that if you kite away from a Lilia, you actually receive too much damage. But he bought a bit of time. At the end, nobody followed up on him, and so he had to lose his life for that. But looking at this now, EVOS Legends with 3,500 gold lead, they're going to start rotating, and they're going to start rotating onto the next neutral objective, which is that Lord. And looking at this right now, EVOS Legends, they have the better setup for it as well.
More drown indeed. Hijume though prompting. Oh my god, penalty zone flicker was huge. Catching four. No clear fall of damage though, but take a look at Albert in the backside. Free hitting. Hijume secures a kill. And Vin caught Brands. But take a look at Psychots. Take a look at Dreams. As Dreams were also gonna go down. But the Lord will fall to the hands of EVOS Legend. Skylar now catching one. Psychots should be next. 3-on-2 action in the river. Lemon taking a lot of damage, and Lemon is also able to survive.
Even throughout all that chaos, Taz was still able to land that retribution and take the Lord for themselves. But this is the situation. They were able to get the Lord. They won't be able to capitalize it to its full potential because they lost so many people in the process. And there is no way of stalling it. Unlike if you were with someone like the Grok. And it seems like EVOS, despite having that man a disadvantage, they are looking for something. I hope they don't overcommit onto this because it'd be a mistake, especially against RRQ.
I think, again, we can go back to the fundamentals and the win conditions for this draft, right? The reason EVOS Legends have a proper draft this time is very similar to game number one, where they are very good at disengaging and reacting to initiations from RRQ. Now, if they get caught off guard like that with Lemon jumping in and they have to just pop every single ability to escape, not much is left to actually peel for Brands, and that's what we saw exactly. That's exactly what happened, right? Brands was still able to kite away for a bit with the Inspire, with the lifesteal that he has in his kit, but you can't lifesteal forever when the burst is constantly on you, and with the heavy spin, with the Divine Judgment, everything popped in already preemptively to try to disengage at first. you're not giving him enough space. You need to try to utilize everything to peel Brands and Hijume, right? That's the main win condition for EVOS Legends. Proper front to back. And like I said, RRQ, they're a dive comp. That's exactly what they need. If they can make it messy, oh my goodness.
Flicker, Divine Judgment on towards Rainbow. Flickers away. Albert now perhaps will provide. Oh my god, Psychos just jumps in. Cold Alter forced. And take a look at the damage. It comes through for Psychos. Will he survive this one?
Nope.
As no clear cover, no clear reinforcements. As Psychos gonna be the first one to go down. As Brands now was caught. And take a look at Brands. He gets taken down as well. One by one. 1, 2, 3 bodies now. RRQ looks for the mid.
We were talking about synergy from EVOS Legends, right? But that was not in sync at all. Psychos went in, there was no follow-up whatsoever, and you could see the flank coming in from Vin, perfectly placed onto Brands in the back line, and that might have been a mistake, right, by EVOS Legends. Even though RRQ are quite low, they still should be able to get something on the board, but the high ground from Hijume is too much. And the one thing that I wanted to address, Miracle, earlier is the fact that you mentioned that the blade armor would have been more value for Albert. But it turns out Cyclops has the highest damage dealt physically in that chart.
So again, it's just them realizing this that we just didn't realize, right? Obviously, looking at it on paper, but not experiencing it firsthand really shows here because they understand exactly what to do. And look at the damage, it melts Dreams.
Dreams very low. Immortal pops as well now. Albert jumps in and trying to find a play. Newman Blast catches no one. EVOS with the re-engage now. Brands, Hijume ready for a fight. Rainbow trying to zone away. Skylar now enters the fray. Take a look at the DHS melting Psychos down there, shooing him away. And now RQ might have enough ground for that Lord take.
It's absolutely crazy because literally what we just mentioned earlier, right? Why EVOS Legends fell in that team fight was because Psychos was taken down, the front line wasn't there, and now they're going for another fight.
Heavy spin popped early, not a good sign to contest. RRQ will grab the Lord comfortably, as now it is going to be EVOS Legends again on the defense.
2,900 gold lead now for RRQ. And it's been on the fact that they were able to get Brands off the board. Right now he's sitting at 145, not the best KDA at all. And you're right, the space has not been created for him, that it makes it so difficult for him to dish out the damage that he was meant for.
Now, again, RRQ, they can dive, they can make it chaotic. If it's chaotic, it's optimal for them. EVOS, however, can't do that. So like Psychos jumping in like that just doesn't really seem viable here, and we'll see if they make the proper steps because Lemon jumps in
with that penalty zone and flicker as well. Catches one and no follow damage though, so base turret in the mid side will fall. EVOS Legends still able to defend the bot side now. Let's see, EVOS still with 5, RRQ still with 5 as well, as they are now moving top side, trying to defend and trying to clear the mid, trying to clear the wave as well. RRQ looking for an opening here. No clear proper setup, but there you go. Penalty zone with the 3-man catch. Taz catches Win, flickers away, and now take a look at Skylar blazing the way just to clear again. Newman Blast not without a flicker though, as it is still 10 men battling in the land of Dawn.
Oh, concealed play here, Gani. It looks like EVOS Legends want to look for something.
Is this the right time though? But there you go. Vin caught, still has the Immortal. Take a look at Skylar. Will not commit on towards anything just yet.
Brilliant disengage from RRQ. They understand that they got 2 base turrets already. That's what they were looking for. And then they back off immediately. EVOS Legends not doing so well in the defense game. Now, something that we have pointed out in these 2 games has been RRQ's immaculate defense, right? Game number 1, they were losing. Good defense all the way. Game number 2, they were losing. Good defense to create that space to come back. Now here, now there's a big mistake, or there's a big hole in EVOS Legends' game that has just been exploited. Their defense is not as clean as RRQ. Now, if RRQ has the lead and if they're constantly able to manipulate these waves in a way where they can utilize that penalty zone to zone that back line and this front to back entirely, these are free turrets to take. RRQ can then go back to the fundamentals, play it slowly, clear the waves at the right time to secure the next neutral objectives. 20 minutes in will mean it is an evolved Lord. This can be the end game. literally, for RRQ. They need to watch out. And for EVOS Legends, it's still Brands with no boots. So he's still banking on the fact that he can use the Abyss Walker to kite back and forth. Meanwhile, for Skylar, there's a lot of mobility already. He also has the corrosion scythe here. So he can slow down the members of EVOS Legends while sprinting all around.
Wait, did Hijime just use the black shoes?
I think he did.
I think just to reinforce his ammo, no? The bombs.
I think so.
Oh, perhaps. And I found that really weird, right? The reason why EVOS Legends are lacking in the defense regard, realizing they have someone like the Lilia who has really good wave clear. It's confusing to me, and the fact is you can put in the bombs at a relatively good level of safety. The range is pretty okay, honestly, especially when you put them next to one another and they start going and exploding against one another consecutively, right? But once again here, the battle for the Lord is starting here. Taz and Albert as well. Seems like RRQ already having the better setup though, better wave opening, manipulation, as well as awareness here.
Now it's 5v4. Technically, right? Moskov is in the bot side. RRQ having that information won't force a fight though. Funnily enough, Lemon is always ready with that flicker at the penalty zone.
And yeah, look at it, right? RRQ, they're basically saying that we respect Brands. We know what we were able to do in game number 2, split pushing from the bottom side while you guys committed. But now Lemon jumps in, Brands is down!
My god, Brands was caught! And now RRQ 5v4 without the main damage dealer. They are going to commit to the side cuts now, flickering away. Gets all the damage here, soaking in the captain versus the world. Trying to survive, but it will be his immortal pops and his life will be taken out. 5v3 now. RRQ will surely focus on the Lord.
That was so unfortunate, right? They opened up the sentry. They saw that Bronze wasn't there, and they made a great assumption. Lemon made a crazy play, but now EVOS Legends trying to disengage from the Lord.
It's too much now. 5v4 without your marksman. Not looking good now as RRQ will grab the Lord comfortably.
No heavy spin, that means no contest. Evolve Lord, remember, and look at the timing as to when they get it. They burst it down right before the 40th second, so they want to utilize these death timers right now. The mini waves are spawning, so is the Lord in the mid lane. Evolved Lord, 20 seconds on the Psychos. Let's see if they can get this in time. If they do, EVOS will not have a proper frontliner for a bit, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're not manipulating the side waves. They're going for it in the mid lane. They're pushing it all the way.
This might be the final push of El Clasico. Leg 1, penalty zone popped. Dreams now caught. Take a look at the damage. Brands gets taken down, and it's gonna be nasty as EVOS looks for the fight. Psychos jumps in. Dreams falls one by one as RRQ will claim win number 15. What a magical scene.